I'm pooping and no one's back here eating it. What's going on? That's a fun thing. Like the moms eat them.
Whatever you do in your own time.
Hello and
Ryan, shut up.
He's the captain now.
This is my thing. Hello and welcome to episode 93 of the Green Outdoors podcast. My name's Kyle.
I'm AJ.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Ryan.
Touché. Nice.
Got him back.
AJ, can you mute him, please?
Yeah,
Muted.
yeah, that'll be enough from him from today. Sorry we missed you for a couple weeks. We've been a little bit busy making really cool content. If you check out our YouTube channel right now, as well as our Facebook and Instagram, you will find a collection of how-to pattern videos that we did with Carlson's choke tubes, how to pattern for skeet, how to pattern for duck, and how to pattern for turkey. So you buy a choke tube, and you might not know the process, but the first thing I'm going to tell you is go to choketube.com.
Easy.
I know. I was joking with Scott.
it's almost too obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a scam site or something.
I was joking with Scott Carlson. I'm like, do you have any idea how valuable that is? Like that you got that? He's like, yeah, the internet was just getting going, and I thought I'd pick it up while it was available. And I'm like, whatever you paid was not enough, because that's like a $50,000 website cost now probably.
Yeah.
And I think he got it for
back
like
then it was probably cheap.
like
$5
$12 or something like that. Yeah. Don't let that lapse even 1 month.
Whatever name you want at this point now, you're lucky to get like .co or .biz or for like $40,
Right.
let alone something you actually want.
Jeez.
Google lapsed once, and the guy tried to ransom it back to them for like millions of dollars. And I think he did get like tens of thousands or something like that. He did get some money.
He bought it.
I also heard a story about a guy that worked for Apple. He would invoice them because he was their window cleaner. That guy never cleaned their windows, but the people who were like writing the checks didn't know. So they were just sending checks the whole time to some guy who never cleaned a window.
If you
collected?
Yeah, he got the money.
It's like it rains every once in a while. That's fine.
If you corner my sister in one story, she'll tell you about these people that apparently did the same thing at our church. They just weren't cleaning it right, and they were
that's right.
collecting a check every month.
Telling it.
Yeah. She'll tell you.
Not
she'll tell
cleaning
you.
it right or not at all.
Yeah.
Not well.
Laurel the Gestapo, we call her.
Yeah, Laurel the Gestapo. No, I apparently she's like, I went in the basement. It was disgusting, and like because our pastor just retired, so we're trying to court new pastors. So you'll get all dressed up and you look nice and you show them around the church, and like you want it to be clean. You don't want it to look like he's not gonna want to move there if it looks bad. So
it's
like a
some
first
pretty
date.
aggressive stained glass windows. They're not stained glass. They're just gross.
Surprised you went with gray and brown undertones. Anyways, choketube.com. If you go to choketube.com, there's actually a thing in there where it says, what choke tube do I need for my gun? A lot of people don't know this, but the threading, if you will, that the screw in, the choke tubes screw into the end of the gun, and they act as I always equate it to like a hose, where if you turn it real tight, it creates a little jet stream. If you turn it looser, it creates more of a wide mist. And it's kind of how that cone shape is and how far the pellets go and how condensed the pattern is. That comes out the end of the gun because obviously the shotgun shoots a spray of bullets. Well, the thing is, every gun normally comes with a couple choke tubes, but normally the manufacturers will use the cheapest possible options as the choke tubes, because imagine a choke tube might be, $50 to $100. Well, if they're going to give everybody 3 with a gun, that's $100+ added to the price of the gun, and that's a lot, especially for a $400 shotgun. So that really changes things. So it's best to get good aftermarket choke tubes. And in this case, obviously we worked with Carlson. If you go to that website, you can say, hey, this is the gun I have. There's a little chart, and it'll tell you exactly what the threading name is. And there's like a lot of different options, so make sure you do that. You can't just go buy a choke tube. You have to know exactly what you're getting. You buy a turkey choke, waterfowl choke, whatever it might be, but you do that. The other thing is a lot of factory chokes, the way that they come is the metals that they're made out of aren't as high quality. So you can only shoot steel shot, which is what you use for waterfowl, non-toxic shot, which is way harder than lead. Lead is soft, like gold is soft. If you smash gold, you dent it. But steel, not so much. So because it's so hard when it comes out, you have to use pretty open chokes from the factory. Matter of fact, most of them will say right on the side, not steel shot, for the full choke type of thing. But if you get an aftermarket really well one, made like from Carlson's, then you can shoot those more condensed patterns with steel shot. So it's necessary for duck hunting is a lot of times, especially for pass shooting or longer distance stuff like when you're doing snow geese and things like that. I don't know. I started picking up a little bit of Mitch voice there, but go ahead.
Go for some waterfowl.
Oh yeah.
Shrimp's cocktail.
Do they make rabbit chokes?
No, but you would use something pretty open.
Okay.
So you'd use like an improved cylinder or cylinder. The only time they really start to throw out names is turkey, waterfowl, buckshot. Like, you know, a lot of them have special chokes just specifically for that. And that's pretty much the only time they name them. They might call it a goose choke, but for the most part, it's just, you know, that's what it is. But in the end of the day, it's all this, you know, it's just whether it's improved, modified, whatever, you know, whatever it might be. Even in the waterfowl ones, that's all it is. So,
and there's plenty of charts online where you can see what they all mean.
Yep.
Which is funny. We're talking about chokes. Yesterday we were messing with Isaac, who's my best friend. He just recently got a 28
Can you
gauge.
just put that out there like we're not going to get upset.
Yeah, no, he's my best friend. I'll
No
go to the
one
grave
else.
for him.
He didn't have a lot of options growing up. Okay.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I
I'm the
had
same
plenty.
way. I'm the same way.
You land on a redhead with diabetes over me. That's what I want that to be known.
He does have diabetes.
Yeah.
He loves his insulin.
He always has
Yeah.
since birth.
Every day, man. It's like
Honestly.
he wakes up like
I
pumping
think
that stuff
he's
in
got
him.
a problem.
Yeah.
Honestly.
He puts it in
funny
his
'cause
coffee.
Yeah. But anyhow, we were talking. Sometimes the chokes aren't labeled. Like his yesterday, we were pulling them out because he's getting ready for upland woodcock and grouse hunting. His aren't late. Like when you pull the choke out, it doesn't say skeet. It doesn't say full. It doesn't say.
Does it just have the lines at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing to watch out for. Is sometimes they're not labeled, and you have to look at the notches at the end of the choke tube.
Like little notches is the perfect
Yeah, I
word.
guess
I'll
it's
let you
like
have that. Yeah.
Divots. I don't know how else to
The
explain
number of them represents what the choke is. So 1 would be full. 2, I
I
think,
think
is
it's opposite.
Yeah, I don't know that I
No,
would commit to
the
that.
the more lines, the more open. That I am 100% sure of. Like improved cylinder, I think is 4. I
That
think
might-
modified is 3.
It might be on the brand you're used to, but
I don't
who's
know.
to say that a different brand?
No, it's
might
a,
have
it's like
different
it's
one?
a form of measurement. Look that up, Brian.
No,
I know that it's the more notches, the more open the choke. While
Yeah.
you're doing that, I'll kind of move on with it.
I had another point too. At some point, when you were talking about lead,
Being softer,
just lead in general. So with waterfowl,
it
since
tastes good. It's good in paint.
I love lead. No, he also got a reloading kit, and we were on the topic of lead. We were talking about it, and I was like, man, I wonder if there's any like safety precautions we should take while we're working with this. With lead, because they say you should even wear a hat in an indoor range because the lead coming out of the gun can settle on your head and it can be bad for you.
Oh,
So they say you should wear a hat indoors while shooting.
Side
Um,
note, real quick, the ventilation systems that they have to have for an indoor range is, I think it's $30,000 a lane in order to ventilate enough. Yeah, because you just think you're inside shooting, but the ventilation that's sucking the lead out of the air is like $30,000 or something like that per lane. Minimum 20 per lane. So just know that when they're charging you.
It's like
Go ahead, Ryan.
like
Sorry.
like medical surgery room type ventilation.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we were talking about the lead, and that for waterfowl you have to have steel shot.
Yep.
And then Isaac happened to bring up the point. Isn't it funny we're talking about lead having some dangers to you while shooting, but when you're putting lead weights on your fishing line, you're always like mouthing the line, biting the strings,
yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Uh,
And does anyone here happen to know if those weights are actually lead? Because how many of those lead weights get lost every single year?
Oh, they're totally that.
100%?
yeah,
They've-
they're the
they've
softest.
They've said that they're bad, and they're trying to figure out a way around using lead weights because people, you just toss them or you lose them or whatever the case. They end up on the bottom of the water that you're in, and then waterfowl will go down and grab rocks for their gullet
Mm-hmm.
Gizzard.
to chew up their food after
Yeah.
the fact. And
That's their
and
grit.
loons and I think there's been a couple other species that have been found to have that
Loons
have those
specifically
lead
are the
things
one. Yeah.
in their gizzard, and it's causing lead poisoning, and they die.
Awesome.
Dang.
Yeah. So they're
'Cause
lead.
So
And I've eaten probably.
this is the grand discovery I came to yesterday. What is that clearly, as you just said, does significantly more damage than I think waterfowl hunters, because that portion of the year is so tiny compared to the rest of the, because you can fish all year long.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that it does work. It's worse.
I would think that waterfowl hunting, you're throwing a lot of, if you were to shoot with lead, you're throwing a lot of lead into the water. Whereas fishing, if you,
Yeah,
you
every
only lose the weight if you happen to like break your line or you accidentally drop one off the boat while you're trying to put it together. You're not going to lose.
I don't know, man.
I would have
think
to
about
take
how
a
many
whole-
fishermen there are compared to.
What's the shot limit when you go out duck hunting? Like that's a lot of.
All right.
lead,
Here's
you know?
here's
It-
my take on it. That's the dumbest thing you've ever said. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think you're wrong, and the reason why I think you're wrong is because there's 150 pellets. Well, there might be less because it's lead. But if you're shooting steel shot number 2s, you're probably looking at about 150 to 170 projectiles in the shot shell that are BB sized.
But think weight to weight ratio.
BB sized, yeah, but man, you'd have to lose a lot of 5-ounce sinkers.
Yeah.
But you can fish all year long, and there's far more fishermen than there are.
How many?
But,
sin-
but
waterfowl
not
hunters.
everybody's using lead sinkers.
How
though.
many sinkers do you lose?
I mean,
Ice
enough.
fishing, I lose all of them. All the ones I've ever had, I lost. Ice fishing, they always get rubbed off on the side. You get the split shots. They always get rubbed off by the giant pike we catch.
This
So Ryan, you're saying the year-round possible loss of lead sinkers is more than the potential outburst.
And the
of-
reason why I don't agree is because of the amount of projectiles out of every shot. If we were shooting lead shot, it would be probably 120 projectiles on average per shell, and every hunter shooting quite a bit when they. Although I'm way more trigger happy than anyone I know, so that's a variable. Maybe,
could be close.
you
'Cause
one
then you're-
one
I-
shot McGee over here.
Well, each one's got what one and some change.
I said 120
ounces?
3 times. I
No,
said
no,
it three.
one-
I said it 3 times.
I'm talking about by weight.
I
It's
know.
on the box.
Yeah,
Like an
anywhere.
ounce,
It depends on the
one
size
and
shot.
a quarter,
You're probably
something like
1
that.
1/4 to 1 5/8
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the average waterfowl load.
And you're taking out, at least where we hunt, 25 shells, I believe. And if you shoot all of them, that's 25 ounces of lead you would be if you were using lead shot, just pumping into wherever.
Yeah, there's no way, man.
I don't know. I don't agree. Is there more wheels or are there more doors?
It is similar to that.
What'd you just say to me?
Are there are there more on the planet Earth? Are there more wheels or are there more doors?
Wheels.
What do you think of the
Semi-trucks.
semi trucks houses? Like, what do you I just countered you crazy.
What was your question?
There's wheels in houses.
There's 2 doors on every car.
Yeah, and there's 18
Minimum.
wheels on every semi-truck.
Yeah, but they don't outnumber
Yeah.
cars.
Or houses.
There's more than you think, though.
Cars mostly even out.
And plus, you're thinking very first world
average,
right
4
now.
doors,
Not
4
everyone
cars.
has
Yeah,
a
but
car.
the houses beat the crap out of them.
There's wheels in houses.
Hey, guy, basements, garages, barns.
Barns have sliding doors which have wheels on them.
Skyscrapers. Think how many doors are in a
There's
skyscraper.
2 doors in this room.
Bicycles.
Well,
Brought to
okay,
you by
that's
Quack
a
Cat.
good point
And
though. There's
motorcycles does change things a bit.
No, well, listen. 2 doors in this room. However, there's 6
Motorcycles.
wheels on each of these chairs.
Uh-huh. See?
Dang.
Boom.
You counting plastic wheels, are you?
But that's okay. So to bring it back, that's what I mean by the whole lead thing. I don't know if you were
What-
talking weight to weight ratio. I think it's probably pretty even.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see the science, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'd like to see the science on the whole non-toxic push in general. Because your whole entire argument here is it's not a thing anyways because we don't shoot lead shot for waterfowl.
Right.
You're saying what if?
Yeah,
So I'd like to make that note just in case.
Because they got
anyone-
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one here shoots lead. with
seem
waterfowl.
like that's what you do.
Yeah.
But that said, I hear a lot of contrarians on the idea of lead shot having any impact whatsoever into the water system. As far as like a lot of waterfowlers think it's ridiculous and it was a money grabbing scheme to try and make more money off steel and blah 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 blah, make shotgun shells cost more, and they think there's no science behind it. when I think about it, I don't know that it's good that you'd be putting a bunch of lead in water. But is it a bunch? Is it actually a bunch? Does it make any impact whatsoever? Does shooting it on ground and getting it into the ground and then into the groundwater really that big of a difference from shooting it in swamps? Or is it just because the stupid loons eat it?
Yeah.
You know, I wonder. I'd like to do some research on that. I don't have an opinion.
It's a healthy debate.
Yeah,
You know,
I want to.
think it's funny is I think that there's probably not that much data on this, because try to imagine trying to figure out what,
think
you
there
have
is.
hunters come in and then report how many shots they shot,
Mm-mm.
and then you have
They
fishermen
go out and do
come in.
soil samples. There's actual research on it. Oh, you still on Ryan's thing? Let it
Yeah.
go. Ryan's made up fallacy, and you're not even shooting lead shot in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, total.
Hypothetical.
This is one of those things that like whoever's watching this is either like, yeah, this makes sense what they're talking about. They're like, these guys are idiots.
Yeah.
What in the world are they thinking? You know?
I'm just
They're
saying,
out there.
I've heard pretty healthy debates on each side about the whole lead shot thing for waterfowl.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like that'd be something, like, we'd ask our dads on, because they would probably...
Well, my dad was there for this conversation,
Okay.
and
Call
Are you
him.
still on your thing, or are we on my thing now?
we're on my thing.
Call them.
We're never giving this up?
The fishing shot, fishing waterfowl thing.
I really tried to move on. I
Well,
won't
okay,
have it.
well, I'm going back because I'm stuck on this. To Jeff's point where he said they were finding the lead weights in the loons, you never hear about someone being like, oh, I found steel shot in the...
Well, the loons
in the
I
loon.
breast out, I never...
Well, that wouldn't be a problem. Steel shot wouldn't
Breast out.
cause an issue. It would
Of
be
course
just like a rock.
No, of course it wouldn't cause a problem. That's why they do it. However, you've never heard about it. And lead weighs more than...
Well, yeah, you would only investigate a dead loon because
Fake
it's
news.
dead. You wouldn't do an autopsy on a live loon to find out what's in its crop. You know, so that's why they found the lead thing, and that's why.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Call your dad. Call him right now. Put him on the spot.
Like, as if he's going to know the statistics on this one.
The cool thing is if we're on my topic, then...
It would actually make sense because you don't use lead when you.
we can rest that case.
I've got an interesting thing that happened to me this past week. I was sitting there looking out my back window,
That's really cool.
drinking my coffee. Mute him? Thanks.
Mute him.
Drinking my coffee, looking at the back window, and all of a sudden I see a deer come out, which I usually see like 8 to 10 deer in my backyard a day. It's nuts. But this one is a little fawn, and it's by itself, which pretty little fawn for this time of year. And it's walking, and I'm like, is the mom ahead of it? Is it behind it? Nothing happens. And then as I'm watching, I see the fawn do like a little bit of a stumble.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of weird. So I'm like, well, I'll go out and
Liver shot. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
I'll come out and I'll do my checks on my chickens for the morning, and then I'll go like walk over to it and see if I can get a closer look and see what's going on with it. I grab a couple apples from a tree. I toss one to it.
Right off the noggin.
It looks down at it, looks up at me, chews its grass a little, and then goes back to town chewing grass. I'm like,
It's an apple guy. I'm
Any-
giving you primo stuff here.
any regular deer
It's
would have
organic.
ran off. So I start
But it
walking
was young,
closer.
right?
Yeah.
He may not know yet.
I mean, usually
Oh, it's gotta be a
they're
he?
pretty skittish
So
usually.
It's got to be a he.
They may not
So
know yet.
my first thought is maybe it's a fawn by itself. Maybe people have they saw it, felt bad, so they're feeding it, so it's used to human interaction maybe.
Mm-hmm.
They say that's what
Um,
you should do.
But then so I started trying to get a little closer to it, and I made it within like 15 foot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I even went like to try to like freak it out, and it would look up like, piss off, guy.
Yeah.
And then look back down, keep eating, and then I noticed again as it was walking, it did like a.
Were you naked?
I was
Maybe
gonna say, but yeah,
maybe he
maybe-
just wasn't intimidated.
Yeah, it could have been that, or
Um,
you could have drawn him in if you shown him if you had shown him your boobies, he would have been like milk.
Could've been.
Oh.
Hey, come over
Or
here.
if you were naked, he would have
Come
seen
on.
it. And been,
Come
"Oh,
over.
milk."
Come over here.
Cow milk.
I'm pooping and no one's back here eating it. What's going on? That's a fun thing. Like the moms eat the
Whatever
the,
you do in your own time.
eat the baby. They eat the baby's poop, so
We
it
don't
doesn't-
judge.
So predators don't see the.
That's not real.
Know the.
They eat the discharge and the afterbirth
pee?
and
The discharge,
yeah.
the placenta.
I was getting there. There's a lot of liquids. Let me go down my list. Discharge, then the placenta, and the afterbirth, and all that stuff. Okay, they eat that.
So
That
anyways,
cocktail.
saw it stumbling some more. So I thought it's probably
That's what slicks it out, man. Everybody know that. you
the
can't-
gummies.
They
why did
He said gummies.
why did this get here?
Wha-
You
it's-
did
it's
this.
us.
This is
Yeah,
you.
this is
I
your-
did not do this.
This is your
Slow
topic.
build up.
You talk about eating poop.
So the deer keeps stumbling, doesn't even care in the slightest that I'm there. Not even like a little confused.
Describe the stumbling.
Yeah.
It would take a couple steps and then it would just like
Stumble.
it was
Like drunk.
like it
like
missed
it-
its footing on something, like it
Like its
kicked-
shoulders
hit a
dropping
rock
out?
or something, and like oh,
Maybe it had one cankle.
and then it laid down,
Ooh.
very casual, just laid down, and then looking back to check on me every once in a while to see where I'm at, instead of like you'd expect like
Yeah. Yeah.
like that. It was doing one of these.
Oh, it was
I'm like-
cute.
And I'm like,
That's not a good sign.
that looks to me more like it's like no deer should look like it's drunk friendly. You know, like
Been licking
not at
toes.
that not at that
Yeah.
age. Not at that age they shouldn't.
yeah,
You know, not old enough to drink.
but it was enough that it was weird. So I went on the DNR website to like, hey man, is this something that shouldn't be here? Is there something? Should I call the DNR? Whatever.
God, can you imagine fielding
know, I'm
that
just
call?
thinking
about
Can
it.
you imagine
And they
fielding
said-
that
I
call?
was just thinking that.
Fielding that
Paperwork.
call. Oh
And-
my gosh.
And there was a report thing, so I reported it, and it went through, and it gave options, and it was like, yes, it's stumbling, it's.
You're the only female that's ever
doing
filled,
whatever.
or any only male that's ever filled that form out. But go ahead.
I
No,
care about
everyone
our,
over 70 does.
I
on a
care
daily
about our
basis.
deer population. Maybe it's got epizootic hemorrhagic disease.
Did it?
Dude,
Oh.
Could be.
Could be. Seem
See?
like it.
That's all the symptoms.
Yeah.
Not afraid of humans. Stumbles. Might have a fever. I don't know. I didn't put my hand on its head.
How close did you get at the end?
Uh,
I don't.
Somewhere between 10 and 15 foot.
Did you lay with it? Did you lay with it?
You saying that like the biblical sense, or did you lay with the deer?
this poor deer.
Yeah.
So I did my part to.
So what
If
ended up?
there
so
is
what-
a sick
did they do
deer, then-
anything, or did they do nothing?
No.
So you didn't do your part.
It was Sunday before Labor Day. Of course, they did nothing.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
Your
like
part.
home.
Your
I
part
don't
was to
think
get.
that claim's even been said
Your
yet.
part was to get a 270 out.
Yeah.
We're at 28 Nosler.
Yeah.
Was it
So
legal right now?
you tried to tell him.
I could have waited, and then I could have been a youth, but I would have had to wait till this weekend.
So, to be
had
we'll have
a-
Lily come over and put it out of its misery.
Here's a funny thing about deer. How many legs do they have?
Well, if they're hung like me,
4.
4. like it doesn't count. Like
Okay, so they have 4 legs.
what is this?
What is this?
Here we go.
Hip,
Back leg.
What would this
shoulder.
be?
Oh,
My
I see.
hips?
I see where. Oh, we're heading the wrong direction.
And my shoulders.
yeah, he's
Shoulder.
curveball.
Wouldn't those also be hips if they're all legs?
Yeah,
What
well,
we call it a shoulder?
Oh.
They don't have joints. I know.
well, hold on. What
You
are
have
these?
to
What are these?
differentiate.
What are these called?
Cankles.
No, they are. No, they're not. That's not funny. Those are some skinny ankles. Very, very differentiated from the rest of the leg.
He goes, I
I've
have
never
no
s-
foundation.
I've never seen a cankle, so
I have, and I don't like it. And yes, you have, because I pointed out 2 sets to you. And you.
Who?
I'm not-
Who?
I don't know.
no,
I
ain't
recall.
doing that. Ain't doing that. No way, no how.
Mm-mm.
Yummy cankles.
Dude, I can't do it.
Yum.
That's the biggest thing for me. I want to not be petty, but when it comes to ankles, I can't not be. That's a make or
They
break.
better be fit.
That's a make or break dating thing for me.
Yeah.
Like I cannot do cankles. I can't. I know it's wrong. I sound pretty bad right now, don't I?
The
Doesn't
last-
your girlfriend have cankles?
The last,
No.
the last big point you
Just
made
kidding,
before
sorry.
this.
She exists, so no.
I want the last thing you talked about with this much fervor just before this was placenta, and now we're on no cankles.
To be fair, it was discharge. Secondly,
oh, sorry. Oh yeah, he said placenta.
no, you know what got me thinking though. Sometimes what I don't like, and we've talked about this before, when you hop that deer, I don't like or didn't hop that deer. Sometimes
You laid with a deer?
no,
I'm not sure.
he didn't remember. No, I'm just
Was it
kidding.
the Was it the deer that we called on and it sat there dying for an hour?
Yeah, that's wrong. Like I don't like when sometimes there's a law and there's what's right. And to
100%.
to see a deer suffer is wrong.
I've vowed to my. Okay, so for reference, Isaac and I were driving and we saw a deer, a doe who was freshly
A
hit.
doe, a deer.
I know.
And she had 3 broken legs and she was laying in this ditch.
Oh.
It was rough. It was pretty bad. And
Oh,
so
hit by a car.
yeah, hit by a car.
Oh, okay.
What?
For some reason in my head it was like it was shot.
Oh,
'Cause
no-
I thought he was talking about.
No. It got
Oh, okay.
it got hit by a car, had 3 broken legs.
Makes more sense.
And so we call the sheriff's department, and they're like, okay, don't approach it, don't do anything, because I mean, any dummy can be calling, so they don't know. I mean, they don't know.
They don't know that you're the god of deer killing.
Yeah, right. All
greatest hunter alive.
all 1 deers I've killed.
Got shot. Anyway,
Um,
no,
Hey, no, man, I hit along.
no, you did. We found it. It doesn't matter.
Biggest one of the year too. I'd like to mention.
Too bad you didn't get in the pot. Anyhow, go ahead.
So yeah, for backstory, 3 broken legs, dying deer. Call the sheriff. They say don't approach it, don't do anything. And we sat there for an hour waiting. No one came.
Is it just looking at you?
Oh yeah, it's
Girls
just
never
sitting there.
came.
And then it would try to get up, but all the like bones and legs are like snapping past each other, and then it would towards the end of its life, it would like put its head down to rest for a little bit, and then sit up and like look around and it's like
God,
panting.
that's so sad,
it was
dude.
the worst death I've ever seen. It was awful, and I've vowed to never allow that to happen again. I will
Yeah.
If you get a ticket, you get a ticket. I'll defend you.
it was the worst, and no one cared. Which I mean, I get it. Like if people like the sheriff's
Yeah.
gonna come shoot it, what I don't know. It was just really rough.
yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
we utilized it. We filled out a salvage tag,
Oh, okay.
and we took it. We gutted it. 3 babies inside.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
3?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we gutted it, and the guts are laying
Rare
there,
opportunity though to.
and we were all
Wow.
and we were all looking at it. Me and Isaac were looking at it, and we're like, okay, that's the stomach, that's the liver, spleen. Like, what is that? And I'm like, I think it was pregnant. I'm like, touch it. And so he pokes it. I'm like, is it hard? And he's like, well, it's kind of squishy, but there's like some hard spots. I'm like, it was definitely pregnant. We cut it open. 3 little babies. Like they were probably a day or 2 from being born.
Oh.
So this was a good sized doe.
Yeah. And
with 3 babies in it?
they I have pictures.
No baby daddy around either to help.
They're a little bit rough pictures. We might be able to blur out most of it, but
It's your story.
they had the spots and the stripes and everything. It was
Oh.
rough, man.
But that's what I'm saying is like sometimes there's the law and what's right. And that's
Yeah.
sometimes, man, you just wish you were in the olden days.
I don't know
when
that it's
things
against
made
the law
sense.
though to kill it off yourself.
That was my
I don't know
that
why
was
you
my
didn't.
question.
Why didn't you do it then, coward?
Because I called the cops and they said not to, and I was like,
Okay,
"Oh,
well,
the
then
cops are
that's the
about
rule
to."
then, you know?
the cops are about to be here. It's not
Yeah.
the law though.
You didn't expect to wait an hour. How was the meat?
Fine.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean,
Because
you
like that's a lot. It went through all of
yeah,
its
the
adrenaline.
adrenaline is just,
so
Seeping.
A lot of
it
jelly
was
in there.
actually fine.
and the deer itself had to be running on E, having 3 babies sucking off it for the last however many months.
That was the 3rd deer we've salvaged. We don't do it with deer that you just find, obviously, because that's disgusting. But if someone like called and said, "I just hit a deer," that's when we do it. And usually, what happens is 1/2 of the body
It's gross.
is gross and bruised. The other half
Gelatin.
is like
Fine,
perfect.
Yeah.
yeah, you get one
As
that's
long as you
gelatin.
It basically
Yeah.
it does. It looks like red
And
jello.
if they hit it going hard, the thing's dead. So
Mhm.
it's not. It's
I like
pretty
Jello.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
Not a
So
lot of adrenaline.
Ironically,
opportunity there.
Jello's made out of crushed up bones.
There you go. It
Yeah.
is.
So then
Collagen.
Not vegan.
it's the same thing. Because it's collagen.
Know your body
Jello.
systems.
Collagen. I'm not wrong.
Collagen is like their knees and their
no, I think he's or is it
I
marrow?
put it on my face.
Oh,
you
bone
know,
marrow.
That's the
Yeah,
thing
way to
with
go,
all-
Kyle.
No, I think
Kyle
he's-
movement.
No, I know.
You're
what
on my
I'm-
side though, so I'll let it go.
I know what I'm saying.
There was no deer. You know that, right?
He called the people and they're like, that deer passed away 7 years ago. The one with
That's old Deerbuck Hills deer.
I watched a young deer get stuck in a wire, like a wire side of the road fence,
I'm not enjoying this topic. Are you?
and it twisted. It did a twist in an attempt to escape and broke its own hip.
Oh.
Yeah.
We went to the Museum of Death once.
I didn't like that either. I was very uncomfortable the whole time.
I was doing my best to pretend it was real.
He did. Ryan made.
Wait, what?
We went to the Museum of Death in
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
They really
Oh,
wanted
that
to
was the day
go,
before
and I
got
didn't
there.
want to go, and I was so uncomfortable the whole time. It made me sick to my stomach. Everything was
Sad.
sad,
Right now.
sad or
Was
disgusting.
that, was that the place where there was like, you for sure are not allowed to touch this thing, and you
Yeah.
guys
No,
insisted?
that was a different place.
No. But this was the place where they said no pictures no matter what. And Ryan took pictures. That was the one.
Yeah.
I
You
was
got it
taking
all
pictures
mixed
of
up.
my own face.
Same thing.
Hey, they got some crazy good hurricanes there, and
Yeah.
I slammed that thing before we went in, and in there it hit me. And I'm just like doing my best to look like I'm reading these things. I am not reading.
I'm scared. AJ's having the time of his life.
Hang on, there's words on this thing?
They had a little movie theater in there, so I was like, oh, I'll just go sit down and watch a movie. Big mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In the bathrooms, they had above the toilets, they had pictures of people who were like all sliced up and stuff.
It was very uncomfortable.
He's not lying.
I thought you were going to say maybe like people who died on the toilet, like
No.
there's a picture of Elvis
No,
or
it
something.
was
but-
pictures of murder
No,
scenes.
no. It was like I would.
true.
And
What?
Yeah, the
What?
whole place is disgusting. I highly say do not go to the Museum of Death if you want to feel good about anything.
I guess it's the Museum of Death, so what do you expect? But like, not that morbid and gory.
No, that's the
thought
whole
it would
point.
be
That's the
like-
whole
very-
shtick. That's
very-
their shtick. How
yeah.
gross can we be?
And
What's
you
the
can't
grossest
take
thing that ever happened?
pictures.
What's the grossest thing that ever happened? Here, let's show it.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Pay me $20. Unreal.
I think me watching a deer break its own hip was the closest I've ever come to like.
You don't
you
know,
like,
Amy.
ugh.
You don't know.
Good one.
I like that.
Trust isn't built in a day. It's built over time. The early hours and the late nights. It's built by doing the work and pushing the limits every day. Because the promises we make are the promises we were built to keep.
The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Motor Trend's Truck of the Year for the third year in a row. And by Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Tracker Boats, fish the finest. And by these other fine sponsors. If you'd like to help support the Greenway Outdoors, please like and comment on this podcast and subscribe to all of our channels.
I would like to note that Jeff said something interesting that happened to him in the last few weeks was a stupid deer.
Over the last weekend, I said.
It was a stupid deer,
Mm-hmm.
and he literally got
Hunting
married.
related.
He literally got married.
That was 3 weeks
Getting
ago.
married's kind of like
He would have
hunting.
gone back to work the next day if he could.
Yeah.
That was 3 weeks ago.
Jeff's had a nice wedding.
I did.
The highlight for everyone was the best man speech.
Rambled a little.
I told stories. Your Gam cried, so
Yeah,
I did
well,
my part.
She's 87. That's not hard.
yeah. Those
Yeah,
act-
she doesn't really know what she's listening to.
Those weren't tears. She's leaking. Nah, she dry as a bone. So anyhow,
Okay. Oh, here's the thing about your wedding. I don't believe it still. They claim that your dad's girlfriend is hot.
that first of all, it's not his
It's
actual
not.
girl. No one said it was his girlfriend. We said his date,
Yeah, his date.
and
His-
she was hot.
I
She-
never saw
she's
it.
she's our golf buddy.
She had
she
a-
golfs with us on the
Do you have a
league.
picture?
we're on.
She had
I never saw.
bosoms.
I fully don't
She's
believe
she's
this.
a very nice lady.
Yeah, attractive.
Yeah, she's quite attractive.
Yeah,
I want to see.
like attractive in the sense of her being 50.
Probably 60.
Yeah,
Two,
55,
4,
somewhere in there.
All right.
50, I don't know.
50. Yeah, it's hot though.
Regardless how old she is, she looks good.
Yeah, good for her.
Good
And
for
she
her.
had short hair, tough to pull off.
Yeah,
you know.
very,
Oh,
very
yeah.
nice lady.
But I didn't get a let me talk the manager vibe at all from her.
no,
No,
she's
very nice.
I'm not
very
buying
nice.
it until I
Nice-
see something.
One of the nicest ladies I've
What do you
ever
want
met.
us to show you, Ryan?
Very
I don't have a
casual.
picture of the
I don't
ladies.
know. I would think that Jeff would maybe have one picture of his wedding.
AJ, throw it up on the screen. Is she hot or not?
The
I'm just kidding.
photographer, the
Slide the scale.
photographer may have taken a picture. We're there in the background, but we won't get pictures for like 6 more weeks. So
Yeah, they got Ryan doing
Good
the
return
wedding.
rate.
we'll follow up on episode 104 with pictures of my dad's date from the wedding.
All I'm saying is I've been
Very
so far
captivating for the audience.
yeah.
I'm just glad there was root beer floats.
I've heard about it twice.
In red floats.
To be fair, I have been bringing it up a lot.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him. You know,
They had red pop.
they had the food was incredible at the wedding. Carrie did a very good job.
I liked being mean to the help.
picked.
What?
You know, the people
was
who walk
a
around
pe-
give you food.
It was a period wedding. You're
Oh, yeah,
supposed
they
to
were
be.
kinda-
That was my favorite, is because it was at Greenfield Village, which is a place in Michigan where
The 1850s theme. They brought in old buildings from the 1850s and like took them apart brick by brick and rebuilt them in this village.
Yeah, I had no
but
idea.
but
it
give
was
some
like that.
examples of those buildings.
The first courthouse that Abraham Lincoln practiced law in.
The actual freaking place.
They also have
from Illinois, took it apart board by board, including the chimney stone by stone, and rebuilt it in
Really?
Detroit or Dearborn.
I didn't know.
Rumor
that.
says
Yeah.
they mixed up a room though. I'm just
Um,
kidding.
Samuel Webster, the guy who wrote the first dictionary,
Mhm.
his childhood house, took just, you know what? He was a cool dude who had an impact on the world. Let's take apart his childhood house board by board and rebuild it here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is like a place that you would go to like visit.
Thomas Edison's original laboratory, including like, so they took
Lit by
apart
candle,
the
if you can believe that.
entire laboratory, like the lathes, the whole
They
system,
invented the light
the
bulb.
furnaces
Mhm.
that powered it, and then they wanted it to still be in New Jersey. So after they took it up, they took all the dirt from underneath the building and transported that too. So when you walk there, you're technically walking like, it's on dirt. You're walking back into New Jersey. 'cause,
okay.
You know, like,
Gimmicky.
Was it Ben Franklin where they found like 1,000 skeletons in his basement?
Yeah.
What?
I feel
Was-
like
I
that's
know about
not the
that.
case.
No.
We talked about this.
No, yeah, no. I'll double check.
On the podcast?
I have
Kyle's
a funny-
dad
I have a funny
built
story
Nikola
about-
Tesla's
Wait,
clock tower.
wait.
They were actually born in
Did
the same hospital
Kyle's
together.
dad told you guys this?
No,
No,
the
he's a nice guy, but he's a dirty liar.
the editor-in-chief of the Green Gazette told us.
So when I was a kid at Greenfield Village, it's always fun going there as a kid. You see them like blowing glass or
Why was
or
Benjamin Franklin's basement filled with skeletons? Boom, I was right. It was like apparently he had like a relative or a friend that was doing research on the human body, but
He
at the
was
time
testing
They were trying to
electricity,
cancel him.
stupid.
but at the time, like it was like witchcraft to actually be like
Learning about
surgery.
doing
biology.
no, like doing like post-death autopsies and like
Yeah.
figuring out how the body worked and all that stuff. So this guy worked out of his basement, so they had like tons of skeletons and stuff. So
Oh,
they were
they-
like grave robbers.
Yeah, they used to steal the cadavers.
Oh, now
from-
you know all about it. Now you know
from
everything. Tell us about
graves.
Ben Franklin.
I would also like.
I
to
believe
kn-
that's not
I-
the case.
Technically.
I would like to add that them doing their post-death autopsies is funny because they don't really do pre-death autopsies.
Yeah, right.
I'd like
Okay.
to finish my story about Greenfield Village.
Go ahead.
We were there as children. We were in one of the buildings reading all the small words on the signs.
that you
talking
can't
about
read.
Yeah. And they have actors there all over the place, right?
Mhm.
And they're all dressed up and everything.
They're from the
they-
1850s.
They churn the butter.
They're,
and
they're docents. That's what they call them.
okay.
docents.
I don't know.
Thespians.
But okay, so we were
Kinda.
in one of the buildings, and the actors come in, and
Get it right, it's
my
docents.
my 10-year-old me and my friend that I was with were sitting there waiting, and the actors like looking at us, and we're looking at them. And it was this like weird, strange standoff. I'm like,
Yeah, you're from different times.
Are you gonna do it? Like, are you gonna do your thing?
Do your shtick.
And then like
Action.
Finally, it was like,
Action.
well, this is uncomfortable. So we left, walk out, and see more actors. They weren't actors. They were
Deaf.
Amish.
You're like, do the thing, dance puppet.
I
They
thought,
dress pretty similarly. so
Very.
that's funny. They're like, what, kid?
I'm-
Piss off.
I'm just like sitting,
Dance puppet.
Start throwing
Tell us
quarters at
about the
'em.
Oh,
1800s.
Ryan, the one light's not on. We didn't get the light on. Click that
know, I
sucker
see
on
that.
for me. But yeah, I never get it right. I probably put it in backwards again, didn't I? It's supposed to be backwards. It's a Chinese fuse. Can you name that movie? That is Dukes of Hazzard with Jessica Simpson. Her best show. That music video.
Great actor.
Do you ever see the Boots Were Made for Walking music video? Not a
Great cover.
Not a kinkle in it.
No,
I'll tell you that
no.
right now.
You ever
lot of
seen
paused
the
frames.
J-Lo Iggy Azalea music video?
No.
Didn't realize we were going there. But okay.
Which one?
We talked about everything else in this podcast, so might as well.
Who's J-Lo?
Yeah. No, I don't know what he's talking about. In other news, even more important than the fact that you got married, this is the thing that I want to care about.
Real
I have
quick
not-
point before you start. I'm sorry. Every time he's talking for the podcast, can you put the J-Lo Iggy Azalea music video up here in the corner?
Every time you cut to me, I'm just staring at Ryan's head.
Looking up.
He wears a green screen hat.
So
But it's a big flat like pirate's hat, but it's green screen, so it's like the booties are
We
just.
have to do it.
Yeah, tomorrow. After all, it is Thursday. That's what we do
That's
on Thursdays.
hilarious.
Even more important, and I don't actually know the details on this, so this is about as organic as a conversation as can ever be. I'm sure I'll have to pull information out of you. You'll withhold it. You'll act as if it's not significant, even though you sat through a 2.5-hour call, and I'll just be pulling, and you'll be useless. But either way, Jeff got drawn for a super rare tag in Maine, and it's for a moose tag, and it is for a cow, and it is in a zone that this is like a new hunt put on by the Department of Natural Resources because of something called a winter tick.
Mm-hmm.
And they're killing tons of moose from blood loss, not disease passing. Blood loss. Do you know how many ticks it takes for you to die of blood loss?
No doubt.
1,000.
Thousands.
Yes. So, Jeffrey, you got this tag, which means that we're going to be doing this hunt for an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell the good folks what the process was? Because a lot of people don't know. They just like they'll be like, hey, how do you know when a season is? Or, hey, how do you know what you can hunt? Or, hey, how do you know what you can do? In these super rare instances, you actually had like a meeting with the Department of Natural Resources, a video call. Explain the call, and then explain the information that you learned and what this hunt means to us so people can kind of get an idea because it's super weird.
Well, to start the process, we have a buddy in Maine, which is the reason why we were looking for more to do
Shout out
in
Chuck.
Maine. Yeah. And
Chuck Norris.
Clear
It's
history.
and he suggested, which is why it's good to have buddies in different places that are also interested in hunting to get you in on different where stuff's
Yeah,
going
we
on.
love him. I get it.
Chuck. Anybody else? No. Okay.
No.
Come on, Tim.
But he goes, hey, you guys should put in for a moose hunt. You probably won't get it, but it's like Michigan where you put in, you get points, and then you're more likely to get it the further you go. So I go, okay, you're right. We probably won't get it, but I'll put me and Kyle in, and we'll start doing points there too.
I don't
just
have
like
proof
we
he
do
put me in. But
points in Michigan. And and he goes, yeah, but you won't get drawn. And then I forgot about it. And then we get an email that says, hey, congrats, you've been drawn. And, we get crap emails all the time. So I'm thinking like, okay, it's crap.
Come to Jamaica.
Yeah.
And I don't look at it. I didn't open it at first. And then I got something in the mail that said, hey, congratulations.
stupid.
We're an outfitter, and we'd love to help you with your moose hunt. I'm like, my moose? So then I look, and then I open that email.
Moose in the headlights.
And no kidding, I got picked. It's like a once in a lifetime, you have a 0.000% chance that, especially as a non-resident, that you're going to get drawn for this.
And I pull like 2 non-resident tags out of tens of thousands.
And I called Chuck, and he goes, I hate you. Because I can't begin to express, like, I've been putting in for this my whole life and haven't pulled it. And he did get through something to do with veterans.
Yeah, but I have
You
him
gotta-
I have him sitting on it for another year to benefit us better.
Yeah, so
God bless
it only
Chuck.
it only
He's-
took
he is
him
the
Chuck
best.
is the greatest human.
it only took him what's he like 28 or something. So it only took him like 10 years.
Chuck.
He's older than
Chuck's.
that,
I think I would put Chuck at 44.
but yeah, it seems reasonable.
Yeah.
So he's been going at it for more than 20 years, and I tried offhand once and pulled it. Now the cool thing about this hunt, which would make great for a show, is it is a special hunt that they put on this year to see how it works. I think it's part of a 5-year program. They've got so many winter ticks in Maine, and they'll tag deer or moose, and they'll bring them in. And in the spring, there's I think they found 1,600 ticks on a moose.
One moose, dude.
One moose.
Imagine having 16. Your skin's crawling.
So they're assuming there's moose out there with like thousands of ticks on them, and the big moose can survive because they're
big.
They're big, But with all that blood loss, the newborns are less likely to survive because they're dealing with a weaker parent. And then the babies get them. And then I think it's 80% of all newborn moose die within the first year, mostly because of these ticks. So they're like, this is a problem. If you're down 20% of a population over a period of
once
whatever
you're
the
at,
turnover
they say 30% of a population. Once you get to 30%, you start a downward snowball effect.
Yeah. So they're like worried about it. They're trying to figure it out, and they've gotten to the point now where they're like, we're hoping that if we start reducing the population in this one area, the ticks won't have as much to feed on. And I don't know exactly how the science works, but they're pretty sure. I think they've done this in
Probably
other
the
places.
same reason why you'd wipe out a lake if like all the fish were infected with something. Wipe out the lake
You
and
don't
start
want
over.
them getting out.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
Start over.
So they allow antlerless, and you can even shoot calves. They have to obviously be antlerless. Most calves are antlerless, but so they start this hunt where they're trying to reduce the population there and see if that'll help with the tick numbers.
And that's the Snickle Fritz tag we got. But even so,
It's still wildly.
can't wait to clean that moose.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what is
if
the
you get
human?
a full-grown female, that's still
No,
a big animal.
I wasn't talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that
The
they're covered in
ticks.
ticks.
Covered-
So
yeah.
what is that situation
The
like?
ticks don't. They don't. It's not like a Rocky Mountain fever or a Lyme disease thing. They don't.
Yeah, I don't want key Lyme disease.
Nothing that the winter ticks in Maine have can get to humans. So
But they
we're
can
good
still
there.
bite you.
They can still bite you.
You didn't mention that.
Don't let thousands of them get on you, but a couple won't.
You're looking
hurt
forward
you.
to getting close-ups on that shot, huh, AJ?
Mm.
The old money shot.
Yeah, they'll love that. They were all about the death museum and gore in the bathroom.
They
so
don't want
Dude,
ticks
stop.
on them.
I don't
talking
like.
about rigor.
I don't like seeing blood.
I'm talking about bloated rigor mortis. Okay.
You know what that actually reminds me of? It was I remember like for whatever reason one of our teachers was obsessed with mummies. Like we did a whole mummy study in ancient Egypt and stuff. I think it was Miss Vidic, and
Didn't have her.
we did. You were there. You had Knievel at the time, but it was
Evil Knievel?
yeah,
Like that?
She's the one that got me in trouble at 6th grade camp. Yeah, Evil Knievel. For getting kissed on the cheek. By the time I got to him, he thought.
Oh, yeah, the cheek.
No,
Okay,
It
buddy.
was in broad daylight. Everyone saw it. It was. I had no reason.
Yeah,
to
that's
get
why you
kicked
got
out.
in trouble, because everyone saw it wasn't on the cheek.
It was. It was. Anyways, I forgive you, Miss Knievel. I mean, I'm sure it's hard enough being you. So, so then I wonder if she's still around. She was pretty old then. She was a very unpleasant teacher.
She remembers us very fondly and
Yeah.
loves watching the podcast.
She's like, was
I like that one.
anyhow. We had this thing where the teachers were teaching us about mummifying and stuff. Jeez, man, that was rough.
It's pretty dark.
And
joke.
then I got into watching the mummy movies, and the scarabs.
Oh yeah, the little bugs.
that
Oh,
like
that crawl under your skin?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
eat you from the inside. That's what it
These
made
ticks
me.
don't do that.
Yeah,
You're
I-
okay.
but it's kind of like that.
Yeah, sure.
It can happen,
Enough
though.
of them.
What?
It can.
No,
Yes.
no.
You're just saying that 'cause you're
Yes.
They
not
don't
going.
burrow into your skin.
Yes, there are bugs that
they
can do
bite
that.
you and hang on the outside. Oh, there
No.
are bugs. but not these
Scarabs are a
ticks.
thing.
No,
I
do
saw
you,
it in the
do you
mummy.
know bot flies?
Yeah,
Oh, ugh.
I hate bot flies, but I do. I have shown enough
don't have-
interest in bot flies that the videos keep popping up on my TikTok. I will-
Same.
I know.
Same.
I don't know what I've done, but like bot fly
I kind of
removal.
like it.
You watch 2 Dr. Pimple Popper videos, and all of a sudden, you're on
Basically,
bot
that. Yeah,
flies.
man. That's what. That's
That's the decline right
Yeah.
there.
The
Yeah.
rabbit hole.
Yeah, right. It's like next I want to see bugs coming out.
Oh, for a while
I
as a
don't-
kid, I saw this thing on. I forget what I was watching. It was like.
It's the
Oh, it might have been.
stupidest-
It might have been.
stupidest podcast we've ever done.
It might have been River Monsters actually. That they
I'm
were
Jeremy Wade.
showing that like you can pee in water and this fish will pee up your or swim up your stream and go in your pee pee.
What movie?
Walking. No.
No.
Rundown.
Run down with the rock. He goes, ain't
Pink
nothing
tube.
creaming
creaming up my tooth. Yeah.
We live in Michigan. That doesn't exist here.
Yeah.
However, for probably 7, 8, 9,
Yeah, if
10
you're dumb
years,
enough, you'll believe it.
Idiot! Absolutely
Your
stupid.
dad told you to
I
go up
was
your hottie does?
so scared to pee in water.
He, in toilets, peed through a strainer until he was 15.
He pooped with it flipped up
You're in a pool
just to
and
be
you're
safe.
freaking out.
Well, no, because when because the fish only swims up the stream when you're peeing.
Mm.
So you're peeing into the water. It swims up the stream. So the only thing I really had to do was sit on the toilet because it just hangs down so low that when I go pee, it's in the water. So it can't swim up the stream. So it doesn't go in.
You want to hear something really, really impractical? Because I had a similar experience. Because I leave it outside, but when I would stand up, I'd always step on it on accident. But but
you know what I hate? Is wrapping it around your leg before you gotta put all your stuff back in.
This is like one of the dumbest things I'll ever say out loud. But when you're a kid, you're stupid. Remember when my dad's one truck almost got stolen? Jeff grew up across the street from me. For anybody that doesn't know that
Our
by
truck
now,
did get stolen.
yeah, they wrapped it around a tree.
It did. Telephone pole.
Yeah. Anyhow, they were stealing my dad's truck, and my dad went out after him.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dad had to go down to the police station because they caught him, and then had to go identify him. And I got it in my head. I think Laurel did get it in my head that they might come back to get back at us because they know where we live, right? Because we put them in jail, and how long are they going to go to jail? And I don't know what it was, man, but I was so convinced they were going to crawl up the pipes and get me when I was sitting on the toilet. So I was going to just get got from underneath. You know what I mean? I'm dropping a log and they're getting me. So I would push
Kermit the Frog.
I would push so hard.
He had record breaking poops.
Well, I think that's why I'm messed up now, Ryan. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out Colin Broom. No, I'm just kidding. I did
Use code Greenway.
Yeah.
Shout out
Greenway 20
Shout out to Pens
for Colin Room. It depends.
He hasn't used a toilet in 20 years.
But no, man. I was I dig like a deer does. Where a deer's I'd do that with the poop. When I was
he was always like this.
I was just scared. I was always so scared that the robbers were going to come back and they were going to get me through the toilet. But I don't know where I conjured that thought up.
Imagine being his parents. You're just casually walking by the bathroom. In the bathroom, you hear, ah.
Snakes do come up to the plumbing, but
we had a closed door policy in our house. We're not like your weird parents with the pineapple upside down. So anyhow, no, I'm just kidding.
Hey man, what was that you were talking about?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, my grandparents got nothing to do with it.
Anybody else hear that?
Yeah,
It sounds like projecting.
Nice.
Anyhow. All right, moving on to the next topic. Here we go.
Being a unique hunt, they set up a phone call with everyone who's going to be involved, and there were 3 different people on it, all experts in moose, whatever, in Maine.
Nice.
And they went through every step of the process of, what you're looking for. They go through the hunter safety, make sure you know if there's another animal behind the one you're shooting. When
you don't
go
be
to
Gardeshers.
shoot, so you don't
They
shoot
did
two. Yeah.
Jeez.
So it was a little long for me, but they did go through here's how you take out the ovaries, because if you go antlerless and you have to take the ovaries and bring them in that's how they identify.
Make a hat or a slipper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, little coin purse. And then you have to
What
bring in
the
something
hell?
to do with a tooth, I think.
Yeah, probably a tooth. It's probably like a back molar.
Mhm.
They do that for
And
aging.
then, yeah.
They use the teeth for aging.
And then
Wait,
the ovaries.
why do you have to bring in the ovaries?
This whole hunt is a scientific study. So that's part of they're checking, I think, the overall health of
I feel like you would open with
the
that.
females.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
But I'm saying that they
I
went
get
through
it now.
that process. They explain how to.
Because from the start, it sounded like a call.
We got to get that thing back in quick then, huh?
Yeah. They.
Do they come out to you?
And I've got notes.
I wonder if they would for the show.
I've got notes at home. I didn't.
Did you
bring
tell them
with
about
me.
the show?
It wasn't a two-way call. It was.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have been an appropriate
Yeah,
space.
it
You should
was,
set that call up.
I did reach out to him. I think
Then-
we haven't heard back from the person, but we've heard back from someone who said they reached out, and we.
Based on what we know about Chuck, he's like the.
He probably
like,
knows the guy.
Chuck-
If there was kings of states, Chuck's like the
the
king.
King of Maine.
Of the non-Amish in Maine.
He said.
Yeah.
He said
So all
if,
17 people.
He said if the DNR people that are running this aren't able to help us, that his DNR buddies that we met
Yeah,
at his house at one time, they'll be able to help
they're
us.
cool.
The guys that probably helped us get the tag in the first place. Not really. Just JK, LOL.
But yeah, it was a really cool call. They went through the whole process of, what these ticks are about, what they're doing to the population, how they hope this hunt will impact the species, and it was really cool.
Okay. So we're doing that for an episode. So you'll find out more because obviously that was very broad.
Yeah.
But you'll gain more information from the actual episode on it. I'm pretty pumped for that. Before we have that hunt in like 11 or 12 days, we actually go hang out with Chuck again. He's our Maine daddy.
He's a cool dude.
He's our Maine daddy.
Maine daddy.
Maine daddy.
I laughed because speaking of Cankles, he
Oh, come on, man. We like Chuck.
no.
You did set it up that way.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean it that way. No, because like some heftier people he called BMWs.
Oh yeah.
Big Maine women.
Big Maine women.
It's like
which is also the name of our group chat.
yeah, that is the name of our group chat with Chuck.
And
It
a
was a funny
picture
joke.
and a picture of Mr. Bean put on a baby is the
Yeah, who did that?
Yeah, we
That
got a
sounds like
weird.
Jeff.
We have a
did
weird,
that.
weird
Yeah,
sense of humor already. Add Chuck into the mix, and it gets even weirder. Very bizarre.
We definitely pushed the pace with him though.
If this podcast has taught any of our listeners anything, it's we're weird.
Yeah, but we're hilarious, and that's why you're here listening to Green Outdoors podcast. So,
Sure.
come on, dude. COVID.
you might want to wipe your leg off.
We have a bear hunt coming up, and I'm super pumped about it because it is going to be with Chuck, and it is going to be in Maine. And the premise behind it is we're going to there's a huge population. Get out.
That's it. Everybody gets one, and that's it.
Yeah, like by the back of the neck, like getting him out of here.
The collar.
Like, yeah.
Kicks my chair.
Yeah. There's a big population of bear in Maine, and because of that, they've like opened up all these different seasons. They've got a trapping season. You're allowed to use bait, you're allowed to use dogs. There's a bunch of different ways to hunt the bears to keep the numbers in check. And Chuck's been watching the stands and the cameras and stuff like that, and he had 11 come in yesterday, and he's not shooting any just so we can. God bless him.
He said he had 2 come in and casually fight over what it was that they were coming into the area for.
Beaver. He traps
Yeah.
beaver and then puts out beaver to get the scent going to get him in the area. Yeah. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, you bait for him? That's wrong." Well, with bears, it's really, really, really tough to get them in an area because they're in super thick cover, and if you're bull rushing them, in super thick cover, number one, it's kind of dangerous for you, but also like making a super clean, ethical shot in that kind of environment stuff. Now, if you're in the mountains and you're spot stalking, I totally understand, but in this situation, it's tough. Baiting creates opportunities for people to have take responsible shots. It gives them time to set up, do it properly. Also gives them a good idea of surveying what bears are in the area. So if they're baiting and they're watching them on trail cams consistently to know what's there, to take out the more mature bears and let the younger ones go and that kind of thing too. So it definitely helps with which animals are harvested and how effectively they're harvested. So I don't have a problem.
And
with
that
it
oldest
personally.
thing isn't even necessarily a trophy deal. That's like you're trying to take out the alpha male because the alpha male's going around and will eat the other babies.
Yep.
To try to make just his offspring.
Even though a lot of times he
survive.
ends up eating his own because he just doesn't know that they're there, that they're his. Yeah, it's like the first thing a bear does when he wakes up. Yeah. First thing a male bear does when he wakes up from his slumber is he'll wake up going around looking for easy meals, and normally that's little bears.
I like that you started that point off with, as he awakens from his slumber.
Yeah, it was pretty poetic.
He then goes out and murders babies.
We don't
want to go there.
I almost did.
We don't want to go there.
I almost did. But
If
I
you're
didn't.
tuning in on...
The funny thing is, because one side... All right, we're moving on. Anyhow, so this close, though. This close.
Me too.
Anyhow, so that bear hunt is coming up. I'm excited to do it. We're also going to be working with the Amish there. It's going to be tough to film. Good luck, Ryan and AJ, because you're going to have to film like over their shoulders while they teach me how to make soap out of the bear fat, which is going to be super cool. And I'm excited about the recipes. And if it tastes anything like the bear that Ryan had on our most magical trip we've ever had was in West Virginia. You guys didn't go. You wouldn't understand. But the best trip we ever had, hands down, the best of the best.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, the best trip was bear hunting. That bear tasted incredible. That was the best game meat I've ever had.
Broke a drone. Whatever.
No, he didn't.
No.
It still worked.
No, crashed the drone. We didn't break it. There's a huge difference. Ask AJ. Come on. I didn't mean it. Well, I wanted to thank you so much for tuning in the Green Outdoors podcast. I know, we're crazy. check out the Greenway Outdoors TV show. You can find it on Carbon TV, Clicks TV, and pretty much anywhere. Look it up on YouTube, whatever it might be. There's a couple episodes there too. Our outdoor education series, the Huntcast. Are you shutting me down already? You want this over with?
No.
It's the
Well, we're going
Oscars.
party mode.
It's the Oscar. Yeah. Play the music. Play me off, AJ.
Closing time.
Time. Also, check out our Huntcast. It's our online series. It's on Carbon TV and YouTube, as well as Clicks TV. Now, Clicks is basically our mainstream home right now. They're an incredible resource. If you're not sure what you want to be watching, go to Clicks TV, clickstv.com. Go to the app, whatever you want to go to. But go there, check out all the different types of content they have in short form. So a lot of our videos are broken down into 2 and 3 minute videos, and they've got everything else there too to kind of inspire you. Like, oh, this looks good. Oh, that looks good. So you're getting like the best pieces of content and samples from all the different content sources. So you can be like, oh, that's good. I want to go watch that on Hulu. Oh, that's good. I want to go watch that on History Channel.
There's
Whatever
some
it might
really
be.
big names on there too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they got some Marvel stuff. They got all sorts of.
Yeah.
Can't recommend Clicks TV enough. So go check that out. And like I said, we have over 130 videos, I think, on there right now. So that's a big home for us. And then if you're looking for an outdoor education series, like I had mentioned at the top, you can find those new Carlson How to Pattern videos on our YouTube channel as well. And then obviously all of our recipes there. And sooner or later, Jeff will update the website with all the new recipes as well. So you'll be able to find them there too.
Recipes was low on my list.
Yeah, I noticed. Because you said you did all the changes, but you didn't. Thanks so much for tuning in, and stay green.